Good evening, sir. What may I get for you today? I think the Hirose orange looks good. Ah, the Hirose orange. Excellent choice. And here we are, sir. Is there anything else I can get for you?
But it's just one switch.
Yes.
It's a little dirty.
Quite.
It appears to be used.
Very much so. Is there anything else I can get for you?
Nah.
Welcome everybody to Very Important Geeks, where today we are talking about this, the Hirose orange switch. Yes, Hirose, not cherry. Well, technically cherry. And before we get started, if you bought a group buy before the pandemic and you're still waiting for it to get to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I upload more nonsense. So I found this on kbdfans.com, and naturally I was curious, what makes this single switch worth $10 when people complain about Zeal switches being a single dollar for a single switch? Well, is it the best linear switch of all time? No, not really. Is it made out of super space age materials? Also no. Does it have amazing, superior specs that no other switch has? It is a linear switch with a 55-gram actuation force, a stainless steel spring, 2mm of pre-travel, 4mm of total travel, an MX-style stem, and a 3-pin configuration, which is very run-of-the-mill. So what, pray tell, does make it $10? It's kinda rare. Apparently back in the day, for a limited time, Cherry licensed the manufacturing of some of their switches to a Japanese company called Hirose. Now the orange variant is not the only one that exists. There are other very rare color stems, including pale blue, green, blacks, but this was the one that I found on KBD Fans. Now this Hirose orange is what you would call a retro linear switch, or a vintage switch. It only comes used. You will not find any new ones available because they don't make them anymore. The only way you would find these nowadays is through the used market, or if you're lucky, you're able to scavenge some older boards that still had these in them. So how does it compare to some of the other Cherry switches? Well, the only other Cherry switch I have lying around is a Cherry Brown, so it's not a super fair comparison, but let's take a look at how they might differ a little bit. The housings are pretty much identical, the springs are pretty much identical. It's a stainless steel spring, it's some sort of plastic housing, the material may be different from what they use now versus what they used back then, but in form factor, they're pretty much the same. Where you're going to find the biggest difference is going to be in the stem. The sliders on the orange are a little bit different, and the actual cross on the stem itself is a little bit different. The one on the Cherry MX Brown is a lot larger than the one on the orange. And even though it's smaller, it does still fit a normal Cherry MX keycap stem. So let's just put that keycap on there, and this is what it sounds like. Imagine just trying to outfit an entire board with Hirose oranges from the aftermarket. I paid $10 for this one, and even if I chose a 60% keyboard layout, that's $600 just for switches. So who the switch really is for the collector out there. If you're out there trying to collect all these different types of switches, this is a pretty rare one. Being able to spend $10 on a single switch for a collector's piece is not that crazy actually. So mystery solved. Now I know why that single switch was worth $10, and now you know why as well. And that wraps it up for this short but sweet video. Hopefully it was interesting to you. Let me know in the comments if you would pay $10 for a switch, whether you're into collecting switches or not. And stay tuned because there will always be upcoming group buy news, new builds to try, interesting keyboard gear. And if you haven't already, hit that sub button, hit that like, hit that notification bell, support me on Patreon, and until next time, geek out.